Hello, welcome to another new session of Focus Point Facebook Live. So thanks very much for tuning in again. So today we have invited Dr. Hoh Hon Bing, our friendly ophthalmologist from ExcelView Eye Laser Center again. So previously he was here for the first session, which is last month, talking about LASIK. So LASIK is a laser eye surgery to help customers to eliminate the needs of spectacles or contact lenses. So today he's going to talk about cataract treatment. So the cataract treatment is a surgery to remove the cataracts using an ultrasonic power without the use of needles or even stitches. Okay, so before I move on, I'd like to share again with all the audience today on the credentials of Dr. Hoh Hon Bing. So to start with, Dr. Hoh Hon Bing biography is that he is an ophthalmologist who have been trained in London and Bristol while in United Kingdom. Okay, so basically he was also an academician, having served as the chairman of the Ophthalmology Malaysian Society back in the 1999 to 2001. Okay, and he was also an assistant professor at UST Malaya with over 40 publications of researchers, and also he also written a ophthalmological textbook. And right now he has a private practice that is running at ExcelView Laser Eye Center since 2000. And to date he has performed more than 20,000 eye operations for the last 20 years already. So we would like to welcome Dr. Hoh Hon Bing.
Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for the introduction. It's
Yeah.
very nice to be here today. Last month, we talked about LASIK, which is a treatment so that the young people can see without glasses. Today, we're going to talk about cataract,
Yes.
which affect the older group of people so that they can see better, also hopefully without glasses.
So let's start off with, of course, I'm sure everyone is eager to know, what is cataract?
Yes, this is actually one of the most common questions that we get asked, and there are lots of myths behind that. A lot of people think a cataract is a growth. Some people think it's a membrane. Some people think it's a covering. Actually, it's none of the others. Okay, so let me share with you what a cataract is. Now, imagine the eye like the camera. Let me remove this. In the camera, we have a lens, and in the eye, we have the lens, which looks like this. And at the back of the eye, or the back of the camera, is the retina, which is very similar to a camera film, which develops the images that you see into pictures that we recognize. And that essentially is the eye. It's very simple, and it's very, very similar design to a camera that you normally see. So what is a cataract? A cataract is actually not an extra piece of membrane, not an extra piece of growth or anything like that. It is purely the description of your lens, which when you're young is nice and clear. And the lens, like any lens, helps us to focus the images that we see so that we can see them clearly. Now, as we get older, and usually after 50 or 60, the lens, instead of being nice and clear, crystal clear, it starts to become decolored. Firstly yellow, then gradually brown, dark brown. And in so doing, it blocks the light coming into the eye. And as such, it causes you to be completely blurred. So it is actually a natural aging process. Okay, nothing new, it's just that it is an aging process in your eye. That is what a cataract is. Now, do all of us get it? The answer is yes, because it's an aging process. The Framingham Eye Study shows that it will start around 40s, and every 10 years as you get older, the incidence will increase until by the time of 70, 80, around 80 to 90% of you would get a cataract by the time about 98 years old. So it is something that we have to live with, and it's something that we will get eventually. But don't worry, because the solution to cure it is actually very simple, and that's what we're going to be discussed later on.
True. So, but what is the main causes of cataract?
As I mentioned, 90% of the cause is actually due to age. All of us will get it. But around 10%, there are some people, unfortunately, will get it earlier. They get it because some, it's called congenital, they are born with it. Why? Some of them, they have syndrome, like Down syndrome. Some of them, because they are underweight, a preterm baby. Some of them, because the mother was sick during the pregnancy, become maybe with rubella, chickenpox, then they get affected. So when they're born, not only they cannot have cataracts and cannot see, some of them also cannot hear. Some of them, their brain development is also slowed down. That is the congenital cataract that they are born with. But the rest of us only develop later on. Some of them, unfortunately, if you take medicine, that's why like steroids, that accelerate cataract. Now, who do you need steroids? People who have eczema and things. Some people who are on asthma, unfortunately, they will get cataract early on in life. There are also another group who will get cataracts, is people who are diabetic, who've had cancer treatment, because they have very, very strong medicine during cancer treatment, so they age you earlier and they will get cataracts. But this only accounts for less than 10%. The rest, 90% is due to age-related cataracts.
All right. Wow, we have a very quick question, right? So, so far, if the person may have floaters, can they still undergo cataract surgery?
Floaters is another different issue altogether in the eye. Let me take this out. Floaters is very common also when you get older. So a lot of people think floaters and cataract are the same thing. No, floaters it's called fei wen zhen. Okay, it's something flying around. So it's called floating around or flying around. The best description is some people say it's like a fly, a mosquito, or something like a hair floating away. And that is because there's a shadow cast into the eye by something called vitreous. This is your vitreous in your eye. It actually sits behind the lens. When you are young, the jelly, the vitreous is called it's a jelly, made of jelly. It's nice and firm, okay? But when you reach about 40 plus, it starts to dissolve. So by the time you're 40 plus, 50, there is a mixture of jelly and fluid in the eye. So when the jelly is floating now in the eye, you will see shadows cast onto the retina in the form of floaters. So like dancing floaters, okay? In fact, we have an article, online article, which we will post at the end to show you what floaters are, because it's also the second commonest question asked by our readers and followers as well. Okay, good question, thank you.
Okay, thanks very much for the first question. So basically, how does cataract actually affect the patient's sight?
Yes, so another question they always ask is, how will I know that I have a cataract? As mentioned before, once something affects your lens, just like any lens in the camera, you will notice something. You will notice that your camera's photograph is not sharp, it's not clear anymore. So the first thing you notice is blurry because it can't focus anymore. The second thing that happens is, because it's like I mentioned, it's turning yellow, turning brown, it cuts out the amount of light that comes into your eye. So the image is dimmer. You have noticed that if you look at your grandmother or your parents, they might turn on more light in the daytime to look. So that is a sign of cataract, because they need more light for them to see the same thing that you are seeing. Okay? And the third thing is, they find that the color not so clear. You may have the best high definition TV in your room, but you may not see the perfect color that you as a young person can see. So your parents and your grandparents might not be able to see. So how does that translate in everyday life? What would your grandmother, your parents, or yourself tell you? They will say, hey, I can't see the road sign when I'm driving home. I can't see the number plate in front of me. And when they're watching TV, I can't see the Ming Sing, I can't see the movie star. I don't know who it is now. And then I cannot also see the subtitles on the TV. Those are the times when you know a cataract is affecting you. Now, that is probably the beginning and the middle stage. How do you know it's when it's bad? You know it's bad when you actually find it difficult to recognize your friend at the end of the restaurant. Your friend say, "Hey, hi," then you say, "Hey, who's that?" That is troubling you because it's affecting your life. But more seriously, it will affect you when you find that when you're walking down in a dim light, I say in the evening when there's not enough light, you trip on the road because it's uneven. Or when you're walking downstairs in a dark staircase, you trip because you didn't realize there's a few more steps. That's very common. And when you get to that stage, it means the cataract is actually quite bad. Okay, so it's a gradation of how the vision affects you. Okay, so this is how it affects you. There are three: blurred vision, the colors are not so good, okay, and then you need more light to actually see better.
Alright. So please do remember those three tips that Doctor has already mentioned, because we're now going to move to the first quiz of the day. Alright. So basically, we will select two winners, for this quiz. So the winners will actually win a pair of UV protected sunglasses, which you see in the front. Okay. So on top of these two pairs of sunglasses, okay, there is also a packet of eye drops. Okay. So the winner will win one of this pair of sunglasses with UV protection plus eye drops. Okay. So start with our first quiz question. How does cataract affect the patient's eyesight? So please state one of the tips that Dr. Ho has mentioned just now.
Any of the three ways that the cataract can affect, anyone will do.
Yes, just put into the comment box as quickly as possible so we can choose the winners and then we will announce later. Okay? So please put your answers into the comment box as quickly as possible. Just one of the selected tips that Dr. Ho has mentioned. So
then let's move on now
yes,
to the next about the cataract. And there are some questions about recovery time, about cataract surgery, but we will answer that as we go along.
Yeah. Okay. So yes. So doctor, when should a person have the cataract removed? Yeah.
Yes.
So,
that is a common question too. The first thing is, do not worry when someone tells you it has a cataract, because as I mentioned, it's part of aging. It's something that we cannot avoid. It will gradually start from about 40 to about 80, or 90 if we can have lucky enough to live so long.
yes.
So when is the time to have the cataract surgery? Now, a cataract in the eye does no harm at all, because it's not dangerous if it's left together. But it cannot be too late. So when should a cataract be removed? It should be removed when it affects your lifestyle, as I mentioned. If you're an avid TV watcher and you already find it difficult to see TV, see your favorite movie stars, then it's time to do. If you are driving and you can't see the road sign, it's also time to do. If you leave it, if you don't do either of that, then it's fine. You can leave it a bit longer, but not to a point when you're walking downstairs or you trip and hurt yourself. Because we need our vision for everyday life.
Yeah.
Even if you're just chopping your, preparing food, you don't want to cut yourself. Those are very dangerous things to do. So see your optician, any one of us at the Focus Point, 100 over branches around the country, get a checkup from them, because they can diagnose cataract. And if they tell you that it's bad enough, then it's time to see an eye doctor to have the surgery done.
Yeah. Okay. So we also have another question coming up. Will I still need glasses after cataract surgery? I think we will answer that in later.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then another question: if someone have cataract in both eyes, can they undergo surgery in both eyes at the same time?
You will answer that in due course.
Yes.
Keep watching.
Yes. We will definitely answer those questions. All right. So, doctor, maybe you can also share the benefits of cataract treatment with our audience today.
Of course. Now, for those who haven't had a cataract, you actually don't realize how bad it is without the life can be with a cataract, because all of you have got, what, tuning in now, probably have very good vision. I always say, let's do a test. Just patch up one eye, and then do your daily in your kitchen, pour tea, walking down the stairs. Can guarantee you, even with just one eye and one good eye, one eye covered, you will have difficulty walking downstairs. You will have difficulty pouring tea into a teacup accurately. You will have very much difficulty trying to cut your vegetables. So you can imagine if your parents or your grandparents are affected with a cataract in one eye, this will be happening to them. And you can imagine someone older, they are more prone to actually getting falling down or cutting themselves or hurting themselves. So you can imagine how important it is for us to have two eyes. Why do we have two eyes? We have two eyes so that we have stereo vision, you know, to allow us to have 3D. 3D is very important because we actually don't realize how important it is in our everyday life. Picking up food with chopstick requires 3D. Like I say, you can try, cover one eye and try using chopstick and pick up a pea or something like kacang putih. You find it very difficult. Try again, pouring tea into a teacup. I guarantee you will miss it a bit. You will spill some water. That is how difficult it is. And third one, walk downstairs with one eye covered without holding on to the staircase. I guarantee you, you will also trip, even though you are young. So that is how important it is to have two eyes. So, to answer that question, it's quite straightforward. What is the benefit by removing the cataract? It allows the person who has a cataract to be safe, to have the vision on both eyes, and to have carry on a life very safely, and to enjoy the things that you and I do, which we take for granted.
So basically, what doctor is saying is to have an uninterrupted life.
Uninterrupted life, and back to their life when they were 30, 40 years old. So you can imagine, making them see things as a young person would see.
True. Okay, thanks very much for explaining about the benefits. So right now we would like to announce the two winners for our first quiz. So basically these two winners, again I would like to emphasize, will win one pair of the selected UV protected sunglasses plus a pack of eye drops. Okay, so congratulations to Sharon Shah, and the second one is Naksi Ray Yusof. Okay, congratulations to both winners. So please contact our customer service to make an appointment to collect those gifts. Alright, hope that you like it. Okay, so let's move on, doctor. So right now we would like to share with the audience what is the method used in cataract treatment.
Yes, in fact, cataract surgery has gone a long way, progressed a long way since 30 years ago. 30 years ago, we were still using the cutting open method and using stitches. But in the last 20 years, 10 years, things have moved very, very fast, such that we do not need to have stitches anymore. We do not need to make a big cut anymore. And everything is now, something that used to take 1 hour can now be done within 10 to 15 minutes long. And as such, the first question that was asked, what is a recovery? In the olden days, you would have to rest for 1 month. You're not allowed to do a lot of things. You cannot go cooking, walking, and things like that. You have to lie still. But now, with technology, you can actually get back to work within 3 to 4 days, provided you don't do physical work. Okay? And you can get back to your sports within 2 weeks, provided it's something like cycling, walking, playing golf. There's no problem at all. So recovery time is very fast. Now, what is the method that we use now? It's called phacoemulsification, using ultrasonic sound waves to actually break down the lens and remove the cataract. They are done in 3 steps. First step is we make a small little incision. Then we put a little tweezer in to actually remove the front covering called the capsule. After that, the second way is we put in a probe, the ultrasound laser probe, to be able to break down using the sound waves, the cataract into small pieces, and then using the vacuum to actually remove it and suck it out without actually making a big hole. This small incision is required to put that little probe in. It's about 2.5 millimeter. 2.5 millimeters,
Very small.
very small. Okay? And the third step is to put in a lens implant, which one of you put up a question is whether you need to wear glasses anymore. So when we have removed the cataract, what happens to the eye is that it cannot focus anymore. So therefore, we need to put in a lens implant inside back here to replace it so that the eye can focus once again. So at this stage, maybe we'd like to show you a video to show how the cataract operation is done.
Usually with cataract surgery, a small incision is made in the eye. The front portion of the thin outer covering of the lens is opened to allow removal of the cataract inside. The cataract is gently broken up and vacuumed out. Then a folded lens implant is inserted through the small incision and into the capsule where it unfolds and permanently takes the place of the clouded natural lens. With the cataract removed, the new lens implant clearly focuses light rays onto the retina. The power of the lens implant is selected for your individual eye.
Great. So I hope that video shows you the 3 steps that were done there. Now, I'm now able to answer a couple of questions that was asked before. So, the recovery time, between 3 to 4 days, very fast. Number 2, are you allowed to have the surgery done both eyes at the same time? Now, last month we talked about LASIK. Yes, we do LASIK both eyes at the same time because it's extremely safe and no problems at all. Now, in cataract surgery, we usually like to separate it 1 day apart because the recovery time is not hours, whereas LASIK is hours. This is in days, so we usually do one at a time. So we separate it within 1 day, within 24 hours. You can do 2 eyes together. Which eye do we do first? We always do the eye that is the worst eye, so that we can actually get back the vision and lead your normal life again. How is it done? You did in the past, again, as I mentioned, it used to take 1 hour. People used to be put to sleep or even sedated so that you are sleepy because it took so long. Nobody can lie down for 1 hour for you to have the surgery done. But because our surgery now is literally 10 to 15 minutes long, that's all we require you to lie down. We do not need to give injections. We just give you an anesthetic eye drop. And because it's quite fast, you don't feel much. You just hear the ultrasonic sound. You actually walk out without feeling anything. And then after half an hour rest, you can go home. So can you imagine from start to finish, from coming in to going out, it's probably an hour and a half. That's all it is.
Very fast.
Yes, it is very fast. So another question will ask you, is it better to have the cataract surgery early? It all depends how early. First of all, you must make sure that you have a cataract because your own natural lens is still the best. Okay? But if one eye causes you to lose your stereopsis, your 3D vision, or if that one eye on one side make you not be able to see on that side, making it not safe to drive because you may not see the motorbike or the cars or coming in the left, then it's time definitely to do it. This time to do is very subjective. Some people are more sensitive, especially people who are working with Excel spreadsheet, lawyers who are working with text. They need to see clarity. Okay? Same, my grandma wasn't educated, she just likes to watch TV, she can do it later. Alright? So there's no right and wrong time to do it.
Yeah. So thanks very much for explaining.
Yes.
So hopefully the audience can fully understand that.
Oh,
so we have
question.
another question.
Yes, I said, how fast can the vision to see now vision better? Again, it's also quite subjective. You should get vision within 2 to 3 days. Definitely, you'll be brighter because the cataract's removed. As I mentioned, the cataract blocks the light from coming in. So suddenly, it's like someone opened the curtains to your room. Suddenly, it's much brighter. Number 2, there's nothing blocking the light. So all the light comes in. So number 2, the color contrast is also much better. Okay, so those 2 things come back very fast. A lot of people find it quite glaring initially. So that's why we offer the sunglasses for you to be able to cut out the glare a little bit because the color is literally very bright. A lot of people say, wow, I didn't know my room color is this color, my car is this color, because the color has just comes by miraculously. The third one, focusing. Now that one depends. The focusing of the person depends. Some people adapt much faster. Within 1, 2, 3 days, they can focus quite well already and very sharp. Some take about a week to 2. Okay, so it all depends on the individual. Usually, the younger person adapt much faster, the older one a bit slower. But there's no right or wrong. But the 2 out of 3 is almost within 2 or 3 days. The sharpness, the brightness, as well as the color clarity. Okay.
So we have a lot of incoming questions.
Food after surgery. Okay. Now this is quite contentious. Some people don't believe that food makes any difference to recovery. So I will share with you both points of view. For all those people who believe in confinement after delivery, of course they believe that food makes a huge difference in recovery. I am one of those, and there are certain foods we know we want to avoid purely not because it counteracts the cataract or the surgery. In fact, it counteracts any form of healing. So what are they? Shellfish, prawns, mussels, crab, and things like that. Some of them can elicit an allergic reaction, so it will slow down the healing. So we ask you to cut down that. So just in case, because we don't want you to have some itchy when you are healing. Number one. Number two, we ask you to avoid anything too spicy, too sour as well. Why? Because if you eat, remember when you eat something very spicy like tom yum or vindaloo, you start to sweat. So it's not nice, because after the cataract surgery, you don't want to sweat because it disturbs the recovery. Okay. Other things some people say, because healing requires vitamin C, we always encourage them to eat more fruits because fruits have vitamin C. So we encourage them to eat healthier fruits rather than fried stuff, okay, which has less ingredient. So that is the thing we would advise you for diet. There's nothing that contradicts, okay, there's nothing that's not prohibited, but we're always encouraging you to eat a more healthy food during recovery. Okay. So another question comes in, if you have, can you still cataract again after you've done cataract? Now, that is a very amazing question asked. I will tell you why this is a common question asked. Because after cataract surgery, you'll have very good vision for a long time. Because you have a new lens that has replaced the whole cataract. Now the problem comes is, after a while, the vision gets a bit dimmer. And that, a lot of people in the olden days call it the second cataract. Actually, it is not a second cataract. It is what has happened is, behind the lens implant, a small membrane has grown over the capsule. And the capsule is part of our body anyway, because the capsule is the one that holds the intraocular lens implant in the eye. This membrane grows because it's just cellular overgrowth, and that blocks the vision a little bit. And this is what some older uncles and aunties or grandmas say a second cataract. It's actually a posterior capsule opacification. That's the correct word for it, called posterior capsule opacification. The capsule is the membrane that grows there. And how we treat it is to use a YAG laser, just to clean off the lens by removing the capsule. That thing takes about literally 2-3 minutes. Okay, so if any of your parents, grandparents have had a cataract operation and a few years later find that the vision is not so bright and not so clear as before, this is what is most likely to have. Okay, so again, bring them to see an eye doctor nearby, and they can just do this capsule cleaning. We call it capsule cleaning in 1-2 minutes. Okay. Now the other thing, we have another someone coming in. Should we avoid bright lights and gadgets after cataract surgery? Now it all depends. Okay. Immediately after that, you will find that it's very bright because the cataract is removed, so you are more sensitive to light. But reassure, the light doesn't hurt your eyes. It's just that you're not used to having the bright light. So we encourage you to have the sunglasses to put in initially, so that it cuts out the discomfort. You can continue to play your computer, the phone, your gadgets, but as mentioned in the previous talk, don't play with gadget 45 minutes into this before you sleep, because it stimulates your brain and it finds you very difficult to sleep Number two, because your brain is stimulated, your sleep is disturbed. You cannot find hard to get to sleep, and when you are asleep, the quality of sleep is not so good. You may have some dreams and things like that. Okay, because this blue light, they call it blue light because it's very bright, tends to stimulate some form of the brain cells, making it not good for you. So we also encourage parents, don't let your children to take it in the gadgets into their bedroom. Not good for them, so good.
Okay. So we have another question, very interesting one. Do you think kids will get cataract?
Yeah. So if, well, no, unless they have the one that I mentioned, the less than 10% of people called congenital cataracts. Now these cataracts are either inherited because there's a family member who's had it, or during pregnancy, the mother has had either infection or some trauma, or the child has come out as a premature child and therefore had a lot of what we call development issues. Okay, yes, then they may get a cataract. Now, this is quite a very serious condition because you need to send this patient, the kid, to have the cataract dealt with as soon as possible. Because with a cataract in one of the eyes, the child is unable to develop and later on will get lazy eye. Lazy eye is called amblyopia. Okay, right. So I'll maybe put that article up into the Facebook one about child eye development. So I'll put that as well as the floater at the end of the program for you guys to want to. Okay.
Okay.
Keep your questions coming in. It's good.
Yeah. Thanks very much for the questions. So let's get back to the main topic.
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, doctor had mentioned about the phaco emulsification treatment. So after this treatment, we were talking about the intraocular lenses.
Yes.
So what are intraocular lenses is available?
Yes. This is a good question because one of the persons have actually asked, do I need glasses after cataract surgery? It's a very good question. Okay. Last month we talked about LASIK. Now LASIK cures all your short-sighted because it's very accurate and it's basically a laser done on the cornea. Cornea is the front part of the eye, which does most of your focusing. The second part, the ones that does the focusing, is your lens. Now that we've removed the lens, we're going to put in a lens implant. This will do most of your focusing. So in 90% of the time, you will not need glasses. But in 10% of the time, you may need the glasses. So you will need glasses because the power will not be 100% zero, unfortunately. There will be left behind a bit of short-sighted, a bit of low-far, and possibly a bit of astigmatism. Okay, but not enough that you need to wear glasses all the time, but you need it some of the time. So now it brings us to the next topic. What lens implant can we offer you after the cataract surgery? Okay, so essentially there are two types of intraocular lens implant. Basically the lens that we're going to put in after the cataract removal. The first one is called monofocal. This is traditionally the one that we've been putting in throughout time. And the monofocal means, mono means one focus point, and we usually make that focus point to be able to see you for far. So you should be able to see distance most of the time without glasses. Okay. Why do we adjust it for distance? We adjust it for distance because the distance is the one we spend most of our time looking. Okay. If you ask yourself, what do I spend my time looking at? Most of the time it's outdoors, watching TV, driving the car, looking for friends. Okay, so we need that. About 20% of the time, we probably use it to read the menu, read the document. But when you are older, don't forget when you're 60s, you're probably retired. So you won't be working. So you'll be spending less time away from the desk and more time outside, walking with your friends and things. So that's why we, in the monofocal, we make sure that the person gets the perfect distance for far. Then they will need glasses for reading. Okay, they will need reading glasses. So why don't I show you a video now, how the lens implant is put in and how it helps to focus the images after the cataract surgery.
So please do watch.
Like your eye's natural lens, an IOL helps you see by focusing the light that comes through the cornea and pupil. The lens focuses light onto the retina, a light-sensitive tissue lining the back of the eye. The retina converts the light rays into signals that are sent through the optic nerve to the brain, where they are interpreted as the images we see.
So the implantation of the lens, it's quite straightforward. It's the third and final step during the cataract surgery. The choice of the lens is between you and the eye doctor, because it all depends on what sort of lifestyle and what sort of vision you would like to have. Okay? Now, that was the monofocal. It's very nice. You only need glasses for reading. Now, some of you may say, oh, I do want to try to have glasses. I don't want to have glasses so that I can see for far and for near. And in that case, you will probably do better with a multifocal or trifocal intraocular lens implant. Now, this new set of lenses are called premium intraocular lens. Premium because they cost much more, and they try, it's not perfectly, they try to allow you to be able to have vision far, intermediate, and near without glasses after the cataract operation. Again, they don't promise 100%. Probably 10 to 20% of the time, you may still need to wear glasses to get the extra sharpness. And why is that? It's purely because of the design. They have to put in the lens implant every single focus point into one small lens to put into the eye. And therefore, there will always be some form of clarity loss. And what we call side effects of it will be some clarity loss, some glare at night. Sometimes you find it difficult to focus. Okay, so it's not as sharp as your vision when you were 20 years old, but it's definitely better than the vision before your cataract operation. So why don't I show you the last video to show the design of the intraocular lens, which is the multifocal design.
The lens you will have implanted is called a multifocal lens. This lens has focal zones or rings that allow you to see clearly at both near and far distances. This design means you can be less dependent on reading glasses.
Okay, welcome back. So let's move on to the topic, which is the cataract surgery. So I believe the audience also would like to know what to expect during the cataract surgery. Maybe we can talk about before surgery first.
Yes. Now, as I mentioned before, the moment you or your parents or your grandparents have the symptoms I described earlier about the cataract, such that they are unable to see the TV, unable to see the road sign, unable to walk along dark places or walking down the stairs, do take them to any of the opticians at the focus point around the country for a checkup first. It could be their glasses. But if they check the glasses and they still have the bad vision, then it is time to go and see an eye doctor. Okay. What happens when you see the eye doctor? The eye doctor will examine your eye to see how much of the cataracts that you have. Once they establish that it's the cataract and nothing else that is causing your blurred vision, then they will suggest to you to have the cataract surgery and then discuss with you the choice of the lens implant that you would want, the multifocal or the premium multifocal intraocular lens implant. This is very important because at this checkup, which takes between 30 to 45 minutes, we will have to calculate the lens power personalized to that person, because every intraocular lens power is different for every single individual. Okay, so you have to discuss this with your doctor so that he's able to choose and then order that lens implant for you for the day of your surgery. Okay. Now, before the day of the surgery, we always advise you to wash your face and have a shower so that you're clean. You will also be provided with some antibiotic eye drops to put in the eye the day before so that it really sterilizes and clean your eye before coming for the surgery. And that's how you prepare for the surgery. Yeah. You don't need to starve, you don't need to do anything special beforehand coming to surgery.
So how about the day of the surgery?
Yes. They will tell you the point of day of the surgery. Always turn up on time. Don't eat too much before coming, because otherwise you feel like, because you might be nervous and then you might vomit or something. So just have a light meal before coming for the surgery. As mentioned, from start to finish is usually 1 hour, because the procedure itself is only 10 to 15 minutes long. Okay? Now when you come, you'll be again asked to lie down, that's all, for that 15 minutes duration. Your eyes will be clean, and then you go through the procedure as the video has shown you earlier. And before you know it, it's over. And then after that, you can rest half an hour usually at the clinic before they go home. Once you've gone home, they usually advise you to start putting eye drops, which will be given to you for around 2 to 3 weeks. These eye drops are very important because they help with the healing. There's usually 2 kinds of eye drops given. One's the antibiotic to make sure you don't get any eye infection. Second one is the anti-inflammation, so that the eye doesn't feel discomfort and doesn't feel red. Sometimes they give you a third one, which is artificial tears, which is like the one here, to make it feel comfortable, because you might feel a little bit dry after the procedure. And as usual, we always advise you, like any operation, take it easy. You know, take it easy for the first 2 to 3 weeks. You can go for your morning walk. You can still, boil water, watch TV, do your computer work, watch YouTube and things. You can, but don't do heavy things like playing football, something like that. Okay, or lifting heavy things. Okay, so the aftercare is actually quite straightforward.
Okay, so let's move on to what happens after the cataract operation.
Okay. Now, someone asked the recovery time. It's very important, because if you are a working person, you have to tell your boss what you're going to be doing. So we always advise you that it will take about the earliest 3 to 4 days before everything gets together, and about 1 to 2 weeks before you can get back to your physical activities like sports. Okay. So in ExcelView, we do it on Friday and Saturday, so that you can rest on the Saturday or Sunday, so that most people can actually go back to work on the Monday. Okay, that is how I would tell my patients. Okay.
So right now we have a question.
Okay, another question here is, do we need to change the intraocular lens after a plant of time? Now, this is very rare. Okay, this is very rare. It's very rare because at our first 30 to 45 minutes checkup, we measure the eye very carefully so that we can actually choose the intraocular lens implant, whether it's a monofocal or multifocal, so that it's accurate and it's suitable for you. The choice is very important at that time because the calculation has to be made. So most of the time, the correct power and the correct lens will be implanted in the eye. So it's very rare that we actually remove the lens implant, because removing the lens implant is not an easy task to do. Okay, and we would not like to do that either.
Okay, thanks very much for sharing about the recovery of the surgery. So I think let's move on to the second question of the day. Okay, so basically for this quiz, we will be providing 5 winners. Okay, so the winners will be able to get a cataract suitability test, and as well as a one-to-one consultation with Dr. Hoh himself.
Yes, this is all worth 100 ringgit, but you have to wait for a bit later. Okay, so
the question is, for this one, will you recommend ExcelView to any of your friends or family members?
Okay, so why would you want to choose ExcelView Laser Eye Center? Okay, ExcelView Laser Eye Center is actually situated in Mid Valley Mega Mall. Okay, it's very centralized. It has 3 hotels nearby that you can book if you want to stay overnight. If you're coming from outstation, there's a 3-star, 4-star, and 5-star hotel. Secondly, we have a great team of staff because we just specialize in LASIK and cataract surgery. So we've done over 1,000 procedures. So we are here to look after you. So don't worry. The third reason, we really go through those stringent tests that we do at the 45-minute test to make sure that we calculate the lens implant very accurately and actually allow you to choose the lens of your choice for your lifestyle. That's why for the question to ask, do we actually remove the lens implant after cataract surgery? We say no, because we take this test very seriously to make sure that the lens we put in is the one suitable for you.
Okay.
Fourth one, the final one, because we have a lot of people coming all over the world. So they like us, I hope, and I hope you do give a good service. We come from Brunei, Singapore, Indonesia, even from Thailand to come to see us to have the surgery done. So we do hope to see you one day when you do come.
Yeah.
Okay.
And also the last one, the accommodation.
Yeah, that's right.
So we got accommodation for the people to stay. I think Mid Valley is a very good
Central
location.
location.
Yes. Okay. So back to our quiz question. Yeah. So already, doctor has mentioned a few good reasons for you to visit ExcelView. So, but we would like you, to give reason why would you recommend ExcelView as your destination for cataract surgery?
Just 1 out of the 5.
Yeah.
And you win a free eye test.
Yeah. So basically, the 5 winners will get a cataract suitability test as well as a one-to-one consultation with doctor.
It doesn't have to be you. You can give this to your parents,
Yeah.
your auntie, or your grandparents. Even though it may not be for you, you don't have to use it for yourself.
If you win, you can actually recommend someone who may have this cataract problems. Yeah, so they can make an appointment to ExcelView and see whether they do need the surgery. Okay, so please put your answers into the comment box immediately. So then we will be able to choose 5 winners. Okay, so we will announce the winners in a short while.
In the meantime, we can do some more questions and answers. So
Yeah.
keep them coming in. There's quite a lot of questions earlier. The very good questions. Okay, but don't be shy because just write down answers, the questions, and I'll tell you the answers.
Yeah.
But we got some already here. So
So we received some questions much earlier on because some customers will noted that even though they have cataract, but the doctor sometimes say maybe you should wait a little bit longer before the surgery.
Yeah, it's mentioned before. A lot of the olden days, the cataracts have to be ripe or mature or hard enough before they actually go for surgery. That was correct 20 over years ago because in those days, the cataract was removed by cutting and stitching, and the cataract has to be hard enough so that it can actually be removed that way. Now, with the ultrasound phacoemulsification using sound waves, it can be done early, like one of your users actually mentioned earlier, at any time, as long as it's already disturbing your quality of life because it's affecting your vision somehow. So you don't have to wait now. The moment the vision is affected, go and see any of the opticians at Focus Point. They will know what to do. They will get trained to check to make sure either it's the glasses issue or it's a cataract issue.
Yeah, true. So the next question we might have is, can cataract surgery be performed on both eyes at the same time?
Yes, we had a question asked just now there. You can, but we usually generally space it out over 24 hours. Okay, so that you can recover first before having the other one done. Because we're always scared of having an infection there. Okay, LASIK can be done both eyes at the same time.
Yeah. So basically, I think we have received quite a number of questions already. So I think we're just waiting for the people to provide the answers to our second quiz question, so we can announce the winners later on.
Oh, there's another question. They asked, can they have cataract surgery after LASIK? Yes, you can. So LASIK, as I mentioned before, last month, is for young people so that they don't have to wear glasses for short-sighted or astigmatism. So they will grow older. So by the time they get about 60 or 70, the cataract would have formed by then. Now LASIK was done in the front of the eye, which is the cornea. The cataract is at the back. It's somewhere in the middle here. So it's a different part of the eye. So yes, you can have the cataract done safely because it's from a different part of the eye. When the cataract is removed, it's the same way as a normal person, and you can have the choice of a monocular focal lens as well as a multifocal lens. So there we go. Now, what is the best treatment for cataract? The best treatment for cataract is the cataract surgery using phacoemulsification. It's the choice of the lens that is the one that is different from person to person. The cataract treatment is exactly the same. So the first two steps are the same. So the third step is the choice of the lens that you would want. And then you discuss with your eye doctor which is the best for yourself and for your lifestyle. Because some people are not suitable for multifocal. Side effects, side effects. Good question. Side effects after cataract surgery. Now, in any surgery, there's always risks of anything going wrong, like complications or side effects. Most of the side effects are very mild. You feel like there's some scratchy feeling, a bit dry. They find a bit glare because they're not used to the light. And the colors are very bright. Those are good side effects. Okay, so it's good to have those. Some people feel like it's a bit itchy. That's why we ask you to avoid the itchy foods, like the spicy foods and the hot foods, so that you reduce the itchiness as well. But other than that, a lot of people feel very little side effects, so don't worry. The main side effect we're always very scared of is infection. So don't go mopping the floor, doing the garden, the dirty things, because with your hands you might touch the eye, you might get an infection there. Okay. We've got some answers from the quiz.
That's right. We got 5 winners. Congratulations. The first winner is called Priya Sharon. Congratulations. The second one is Michelle F1. The third name we have is Jenny Tay. Fourth is Aisha No. And fifth, Alicia Armani. Congratulations to all 5 winners. So of course, like what we mentioned, you can actually recommend your family or friends who may have cataract, so to make an appointment with ExcelView Laser Eye Center, to get a suitability cataract test.
But if you are young and you don't want to use it for the cataract, you can actually use it for the LASIK if you want to as well. We can do your LASIK suitability test if you are a young person. Okay?
Yes, you choose to do it. So congratulations again to everyone. So I think that's the time we have for today. So we'd like to thank Dr. Hoh for his time to share his views and opinions on the cataract treatment.
So we hope you enjoyed the program. This is the second of the one involving me.
Yes.
If you all have any suggestions for any other further topics, don't be shy. Leave some comments on the Facebook page, and the focus point will then look through, and then we'll pick a topic of the most popular choice so that you'll see us again every single month.
So to the winners just now, please contact our customer service to make an appointment, okay, to redeem those gifts. Alright. So till then, I think we'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. So we hope to see you the next round.
Bye bye.